All right, guys, ready? All right, good morning. David?
Good morning. Mike, David Moore, Dallas Morning News. Can you tell us a little bit of your thoughts on Tony and Muhammad and their additions and how you bring them along? I assume they really won't work into practice till kind of middle next week.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it's important to get them in there and see where they're at. So we'll kind of work them in. Both had a good workout yesterday. I mean, it was pretty, standard workout this time of year. But these guys are, Will and the department they've been in contact with. So this was something that, frankly, that we were talking about before Sam's injuries.
Clarence Hill, Forward Star Telegram. Can you give us an update on Kendrick's situation, his injury, and where he is?
Yeah, I mean he's dealing with a lower back, so I think he's going to give it a shot today. We'll see how it starts for him.
Mike Todd Archer with ESPN. With Dak, you probably don't even know that he would be in a contract here based on what he's done. Have you seen that kind of wear on guys in the past that put pressure on themselves in a contract year? Is Dak different that way?
I can just off the top of my head. I don't recall. I definitely have coached a lot of players in their contract year, and I think it's something that happens quite frankly. So I think it's important that I think it's common is my point. So I don't think this is something that's just exclusive to one quarterback. I mean, this goes on every single day for the majority of the employees in this league.
John Michaud with The Athletic. What have you thought of Luke Schoonmaker and just how he's done coming back off, obviously dealing with a bunch of injuries?
Luke's having a good camp. I think just like anything, you really appreciate his skill set, especially when the pads come on. He's still growing in some of those areas, but the ability to be an anchor, on the line of scrimmage, particularly with our new defense, we're seeing a lot more 6 technique and 9 technique and different things where obviously the importance of as far as responsibility in the run blocking for the tight ends has increased. So Luke is definitely one of our better guys there. And I think he's done a really nice job in his route running. I see improvements in his route running, disciplining his stems, not rushing his final step, bigger windows, using his body more. So I think Luke's having a good camp, and frankly just needs to stay healthy. He's had some things bite him in the past, and he's doing well.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. What's been the biggest improvement you've seen in Tolbert?
I just think everything. I think he's just really completed his game. I think that just like any young player that comes into the league, in his case particular, after his rookie year, is like, hey, I got to get stronger, and I got to play more physical. And I'm not just talking run blocking, I'm talking about in his route running, particularly when he gets to the top of his stem and the breaking point. So, yeah, I think JT's taking a big step, and he's one of those young men that, he's in there every day. He's always looking for work. I mean, travel the country, in that off time. So does all the little things, and he's a true professional, and and frankly arrived here with that. So I could recall his rookie training camp, on off days, looking for assistance and the detail in his note taking. I mean, he had a notebook that was, pristine in that area. So and now we're seeing the benefits of that.
Saad Yusuf, The Athletic. Mike, we've asked you a lot about Dak and Trey Lance, but Cooper Rush in the middle, how have you seen him going about his business, the way that he's handled his job and responsibilities out there? Cooper's
so steady. I've always loved that about him. He's personality-wise is exactly how he plays, and I think it's a real credit when you see a veteran with that presence, that confident, quiet presence that he brings, and he steps in the huddle with the young guys, and the ability to talk through with the young guys, spend the time with the young guys. So, yeah, super consistent. Obviously, extremely bright, knows the offense inside and out. But I think he's in a really good rhythm, right now. And frankly, I think this is the best shape I've seen him in, physically. So you're seeing all the extra work that he's putting in has paid off.
Difference between guys like Trey Lance, who is a young guy who might still have starter potential, versus Cooper Rush, a veteran who's kind of locked into that backup role. Like, how do they approach practices in that way?
How do they approach practice? I mean, they approach practice the same way. I mean, we all work together. Get ready for practice. They know their reps. Cooper's a great teammate that way with Trey, and yeah, so it's as healthy as a quarterback room as you can have with those three personalities in there.
Jeff Cole with Fox 4. Mike, what impresses you most about the way that Tyler Smith, at 23 years old, handles his business, and how important is he with the changes on his left and right this year?
Well, just watch his arrow as he's climbed up the ladder, and going back to his rookie year, to put him in the spot that we put him in. I mean, it was obviously something I know I didn't prefer to do. Having him split the reps pretty much between guard and tackle, but it's something that we felt we wanted to do. I don't think you necessarily say needed, but I think it shows you what we thought of his maturity back then, coming out of Tulsa. So for him to learn the two positions, and frankly the technique and that, it wasn't always pretty, but I think the man and his ability and his the spirit that he plays with and the physicality, was able to push him through. So it's been really cool now to see him lock in and play one position, and he plays at a very high level. But he's like, he's human too. He's like all of our offensive linemen right now. Our pads are too high, and we need to get the fits tighter, and so that's normal week one stuff. But yeah, I think Ty is going to be a top level great player in this league for a long time.
Patrick Walker, DallasCowboys.com. Circling back to the tight ends, outside of Jake and Luke, you guys are getting back John Stevens Jr., you have Peyton Hendershot, add Alec Holler, Brevin Spanford, got Princeton Fan. Can you talk about how the competition is going behind Schoonmaker and Ferguson, and is there anyone that's jumped out already?
Oh, they all have. No, I do. That's a really, really good, deep, young group. I mean, all those guys will play in the league, in my opinion. And I think when you project young players like that, you can get out in front of yourself. But no, that group is going to be fun to watch. And then we always got to talk about special teams when we talk about those guys, because that particular body type you can't have enough of on special teams. So yeah, I mean, we can go through each guy. I mean, I think they've all. We do video. Just reminders and things when we get together as a group in the perimeter, and all those guys are on those tapes, and that's not normal to see young players make that tape. So I mean, John's done some really good things. Princeton's, particularly once we put the pads on, that's where his game comes to light a little more. And the young cats are smart, instinctive players. So I do want to see more padded work, but those guys are doing a really nice job. It's a very competitive room.
Mike Leslie, WFA. Coach, have you seen the battle at the center position between Hoffman and Beebe? How's the rookie doing, and where do you evaluate that?
I tell you, you got three centers in there that are doing a really nice job. And Dakota's, I thought, is getting his first real full-time opportunity. He's come to us before in the middle of the season, and so now he's been able to go from start to finish. So I really like what all three of them are doing. I think just the first thing is you got to command it. You got to have command of the declarations. They get things started. Obviously, the quarterback center exchange, which was a little bit of an issue in the spring, is clearly much better. So I think that part of it, the operation, has been good. We're getting great work against Mike Zimmer in the defense, just particularly with the schematic challenge there. So that's been really good, full speed and the timing of it. So we're off to a good start. But yeah, I think, just like I said earlier with Tyler Smith and our guys need to work. We need pass rush every day. We need 907 every day. We need the padded work. So we all have work to do there. All three of those guys.
For a guy like Beebe, as a rookie, like you're saying, the declarations and the understanding of what he's looking at from the defensive front, how much can he lean on Dak for some of that? Is there I know when Dak was younger, he was able to lean a little bit on Travis Frederick in the other direction. Can it kind of go in the other?
No, absolutely. I mean, it's just the way we do it here. They lean on everybody. I mean, that's all we talk about. There's not a team presentation or a team meeting doesn't happen without a presentation that refers to across the hall. I mean, we got to help each other all the way through. Like, offense and defense, veteran to rookie. That's a big part of how we operate, especially in this teaching realm and training camp. I mean, this is where you have to have it. This is the only time we're all together. This is our most pure football opportunity of the year. Regardless of how far you go. So you got to take advantage of it. Yeah, so to answer your question specifically, everybody's helping everybody. And Cooper's a sponge. He's got that kind of personality, and he's getting better.
Brad, did you have something? I do, yeah, thanks. Brad Sham, Cowboys Radio. Staying in the offensive line. Mike, second year for Awesome Richards. He's worked inside and out. We'll talk about his development.
Yeah, I think, looking at him last year, loved his athletic ability. You can see the foot speed and the quickness right away, just his react. But had to get stronger, had to get anchored. He's definitely taken a big step there in the weight room, and it's been nice because it has transferred to the field. So once again, doing a lot of great things. I'm trying not to say the same thing, but everybody's doing a hell of a job. He's doing a great job. Everybody's doing a great job. So, but no, it's but this is where we are though. He needs. I'm not going to sit up here and say we got to figure it out because if you watch closely, we got a lot of work inside, and those guys are, have the biggest challenge because they don't get to work with pads in the offseason and so forth. Where the perimeter guys are clearly further ahead than our interior guys.
Dan Greenspan, Associated Press. Mike, Hall of Fame game last night was the first look at the new kickoff rules. Seemed pretty vanilla. Everybody trying to hold their cards. Do you think the joint practices will maybe give a little bit better look at how those things are going to play out? Or again, will everybody be kind of cautious to... Well,
when you look at the joint practices, how many reps you're really going to get, but yeah, you're going to work it. So you'll probably see more in the joint practices because how many were there last night too? Yeah, so you're going to get more work there. But yeah, that'll give you a clearer indication. Yes.
Mike, with Guyton, you drafted him, he immediately moved up. He said he didn't take a vacation after minicamp but stayed around and worked out. Did you guys know that? Is that a seriousness of approach that you knew of when you took him?
Definitely. I just, one thing I recall, and Will could probably speak on it in more detail than myself, is, the position coach. And then, Mike Solari's visit up there to Oklahoma, and it just a consistent message of how they felt that his preparation this year was top notch, and and you look for that maturity in those prospects, and you rely on opinions of others here. But so yeah, that was definitely something that was I know was mentioned in the reports.
Have you seen that? Obviously, it's early. I know everybody's got to get better and all that. But have you seen that his diligence kind of pay off a little bit here, and how he's improved from with the first OTAs when he got here till now? Yeah,
definitely. I think he's taken a big step. He does have a very naturalness to him, as far as his understanding of football. So it's definitely, that has not been an issue at all. Has really good recall. So that's important. It's something that you always look for in your classroom environment when you're teaching these guys the recall. He does has good recall for a young player. So yeah, I don't think he has any restrictions, and just like every lineman we've talked about, he needs a padded work.
Zimmer's been known as a tough disciplinary coach, in the past. Does he still have that edge? Have you seen that play out?
Yeah, definitely. I think just like anything, when you talk about, Mike Zimmer or guys that have coached in this league, through generations, there's definitely a consistency there in how he goes about it. But yeah, I think, we all recognize things are a little different today than they were 20 years ago. But no, he's definitely, that's who he is at the core.
Today, obviously it's a different personality style from Dan.
Yeah, it was, and that was by design. Dan did a great job here. Without a doubt, and had his style, and he had his superpowers that definitely was reflected in how we played on defense, and had some excellent defenses here. So now that's why it was important. With this, with the opportunity with Mike, is to clearly give him the clear slate. That's something that, when you look back at experiences in the past, and even if we call the same thing something different. So it's his language. It's got to come out of his mouth clean. The adjustments, the history of those adjustments, how the approaches particularly, you can see, and I think it's a hell of a job when you recognize, you look at an offense or defensive system, it goes into spring, and you're able to get into your second or first padded practice and have some game-like situations, and we've been creating that for each other, and that's been super cool, because you normally don't usually get that till later in the later installs, 7, 8, and then the bonus practices, and we're getting it right now. So I think that'll benefit all of us, and that's a real credit to Mike and the staff and the players to get to that point as quick as they have.
Mike, Dak was already into his career when you got here, and other than just the evolution of a quarterback and understanding the game better, is there anything? What part of his game or parts do you feel he's improved most in your time here?
I think he's improved in most all the areas, and that's what I really appreciate about him. He's always working on his game. I mean, you can break it down in the pocket and out of the pocket. I mean, you look at his footwork, just some the adjustments from the system before to now, and some of the new footworks that are just the emphasis of particular footworks over what he's done in the past. He's done a really good job with that. I look at his flexibility, in the shoulders and elbows, and I think his partner Luke Wilson there, his PT that works with him does a phenomenal job there. The flexibility, you can see the different arm slots, throws that he does on a daily basis. So I see some improvement there than 2020. But yeah, the understanding of the offense, he's just going to keep getting better. He's just going to keep getting better and better as he goes through these constant reps of the same concepts and take them to the variations, and love them in the classroom. Love the whole classroom environment. That's incredible. So he's a sponge, can't get enough. And frankly, if he does anything wrong, he probably does a little bit too much away from here, because he's always working on his game. So I think he's a guy that's always looking to improve, and you're seeing it. Thank you.